a tight hip flexor? Well, many people do. I'm Dr. Ben Quist, and today I'm going to show you a 3-move flow that's easy to do that's going to hack that hip. All you need to do is follow along. Equipment needs are a foam roll, some type of mobility ball, and then an optional flat band. All right, let's get to it. All right, we're starting with move number 1. First step is we're going to mobilize the top section of the hip flexor where it connects in the spine. Grab your mobility ball, you're going to place it right to the side of your belly button, and we're going to be doing this on both sides, so pick right or left, doesn't matter. And then we're coming flat down onto the ground. Now, when you do this move, you can use a mat, but it works even better if you do it on the hard ground, some type of firm surface, because if you use the mat, the force of the ball digging back up into the attachment of the hip flexor is going to be reduced, and some of that force is going to be taken up by the mat. So many times, if it's not intense enough, I go to a flat, firm surface. If it's too intense, I add a mat in to make it less intense. So what you're going to be doing is slowly rolling side to side to try to find an area that feels somewhat like a dull ache. Once you get on that spot that feels a little bit uncomfortable, slightly like a dull ache, to the side of your belly button, you are on the top of the hip flexor. And then what you're going to do is just let that ball kind of compress into that area and get some release going in that top section. Once you have that held for a period of time, Jeremiah's been on it for now probably 20, 30 seconds. Now we're going to add in some taking your body down to the floor, meaning kind of hunkering down, and then pushing back up into that prone on elbows position, and then coming back down. What you're doing now is just kind of stretching the hip flexor over the ball and adding some intensity to it. It's called a pin and release technique, and we're going to do this for 5 reps. So that's 3, Jeremiah. Keep it rolling here. Last one. Awesome. Excellent. Okay, let's switch it up. Now we're going to do the same move on the opposite side. So you need to take your ball. We're going to switch that over to the opposite side of the belly button, and then same thing. Some small lateral moves, left, right, until you feel that ball dig into a spot, again, where you feel a slight bit of discomfort. Then hunker down and just relax. We're going to again be here for about 20 to 30 seconds, just letting that ball do its work of compressing onto that upper insertion of the hip flexor and kind of letting it release. A couple more seconds. How's that feeling, Jeremiah?
Oh, lovely.
Lovely. This one looks like it doesn't do much, but it is incredibly effective.
Oh, you feel it.
So now let's move into those 5 reps of the kind of coming down through your torso and now pushing back up, prone on elbows, nice good push, back down. You got 5 reps, press back up, take it down, press back up, take it down, last 2. Last one. And good. All right, move number 1 is done. Let's move on to move number 2.
Yowza.
All right, we're back with move number 2. Grab your foam roll. We are going to be doing this one kind of easy and basic. We're now going to roll through the quadricep muscle group. So part of your quadricep is one of your hip flexors. So the rectus femoris component of the quad, we need to kind of get that guy loosened up as well. So Jeremiah, come all the way prone over the roll. We're going to start with that roll up towards the top area of the hip, so just below the kind of hip, and then from there, keeping your back up so you're in kind of a relatively flat back position, we're going to commando crawl forward, and we're going to roll both of those quads out at the same time, just for the purposes of time here. We're going to be doing 3 times rolling up and down the quad, going from the bottom part of the hip to the top part of the kneecap, and then back. Your roll should be slow and controlled, so we're going to think of a 10-second up and then a 10-second down. What do you want, Jeremiah? Is that number 2?
This will be 2.
2, and then rolling down smoothly, slowly. If you go too fast with it, the roll doesn't have a chance to kind of do its work of kind of digging in and loosening that muscle. Number 3, each time you're rolling up and down, I want you to kind of assess where it was the tightest area in that muscle as you went through there. So now that we're done with the 3, now remembering where that tightest area was, we're going to go back to that area. Are you there, Jeremiah?
I think so.
Okay, now the real fun happens. We're going to do our pin and release technique on the quadricep by bending the knees, bringing that up, and taking that down. I'm only laughing because I know how painful this is.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna be doing 5 slow reps of bending the knees up. Many times it's mid-quadricep where you're gonna really get some good release happening. He's on number 3. 4. Last one. And take it down. Good. All right, we're done with that one. Moving on to the final one. All right, so now that we've mobilized kind of the top section of the hip flexor, we've mobilized the kind of quadricep component of the hip flexor towards the bottom, we are now gonna move into a stretch. So we're gonna be using the flat band for this one. If you don't have a flat band or don't wanna use one, no big deal. We'll show you a version of this after we do the whole flow on this particular stretch that you can do as well. So you're gonna pop the band up as high as you can, right beneath the kind of lower part of your buttocks. And you want the band attached to something nice and sturdy that is in a relatively level line back to that spot. Opposite knee is gonna go forward, tall posture through your chest, and then spine neutral posture through your lower back. From there, you're going to press your body backwards, hold, and do 1 deep breath. And then release back forward. Press back, hold, 1 deep breath. As you press back, that's where you're gonna really feel the intensity kick in. And take it forward. And we're gonna do 5 of these. This is number 3. Deep breath in and relax. So on number 4 and 5, we're gonna have Jeremiah show you the advanced version. He's gonna attempt to grab his foot. Jeremiah's not very flexible, so this might not go well, but if you are flexible, you wanna grab the foot. This is gonna tighten it from the bottom part of the insertion as well. And then he's in back. He obviously can't go back as far. Take it forward. He's going back into the hard one, and then take it back, last one. And again, this is the advanced version. And good, all right. Now, you do have to do both sides on all these different moves, so flip it out. Switching over, and this is, as much as it looks like the flat band wouldn't help, it totally significantly changes the stretch and makes it better. So it's kind of pulling your femur forward as you're shifting backwards. So, okay, so shift back, let's get our 5 on this side, guys. Press back, hold, breathe, 5 reps. Take it back, we'll let them get like kind of loosened up with these first 3 reps without the advanced maneuver, and then we can just kind of enjoy watching Jeremiah try to get the advanced one here. If you want more specific knowledge on this particular aspect of the hip flexor, which is called the rectus femoris component, you can watch our video on that. I think Jeremiah's gotten slightly more flexible since that video, actually, too.
Honestly, it was easier than last time. That was bad. Maybe it was a different band.
Now hold, now get your leg back, grab the foot. We're gonna do the advanced version. Last one, can you do it, folks? Can you do it? Okay, we're gonna try one advanced one, holding, last one, deep breath. He's falling, he's about to fall down, and good. Okay, excellent, so that's the flow. Easy peasy, right? And then we're gonna show you how to do this without the band as well. It's just a little bit different. Okay, so if you don't have a band, you are just gonna come on down into position. You're gonna keep that spine neutral that we were talking about in that last move. The shift is different. When you don't have the band, you are going to shift forward, controlling core position, keeping your abs tight until you feel that stretch coming on the kind of front part of your hip on the leg that's back. To add in an additional stretch, you can add a little rotation towards the leg that's forward. Same pacing, you take 1 deep breath here, then you would back off, then you'd bring it back forward, keeping everything tucked, hold, 1 deep breath, and so on for the 5 reps on either side. All right, we're gonna switch speeds here and we're gonna talk about why this works and why it's important to have a hip flexor that has the appropriate amount of length next. So if you wanna nerd out with me, let's go. Okay, so now for the nerdy stuff. Thanks for sticking around for those of you who have. The hip flexor is such an unusual muscle group because part of it, the upper part of the hip flexor, which is composed of the iliopsoas muscle group, which is 2 different muscles, the iliacus and the psoas major and minor. Actually, that's 3 muscles, 3 different muscles that are kind of grouped together and wadded together. That muscle connects from the front part of your lumbar spine. It kind of translates through your body and connects onto the front of your femur. So it is like this bridge between the back side of your body and the front side of your body, and it has a lot to do with stability and how your dynamic between your pelvis and your lumbar spine works. So that's why sometimes when this muscle is tight or is at an abnormal length, it can cause a lot of problems for people. Things like back pain or hip issues or things of that nature. So it's very important to keep this muscle loose. You can check out a lot of our other videos where we show you how to assess whether you have a tight hip flexor or not. We have some shorts on that and some long versions as well. Basically, the muscle's main primary action is to flex or raise the hip. People with appropriate length can get the leg all the way back down to the ground, and they should have roughly about 10 more degrees of motion coming backwards through the hip into extension. If you're not able to get that extra 10 degrees, obviously your hip flexor is tight. So that kind of whole 10 degrees of extension past neutral all the way up into that flex position is what it does. The other component of the hip flexor is the rectus femoris, which is part of your quadricep. That one again goes all the way from the kneecap in the quad on this side, and it wraps up and through, and it connects up onto the ASIS on the top of your pelvis. And it also assists with hip flexion, but really that's another really fascinating muscle group, which we have an entire video on, that bridges the gap between your knee and your pelvis, and it does all kinds of cool things as well. So making sure that these different muscles have their appropriate length and are functioning good is really, really important. So this 3-move flow is just a great first step to making sure that you have healthy hip flexors, happy hip flexors, and a happy back and hip. All right, that's all I got for you today. We'll talk to you later.